first round series.
News from around the NBA, Tony Parker just signed a deal with Charlotte. It's going to be really bizarre to see him wearing any other jersey.
The Kawhi Leonard saga is over. The Spurs traded the disgruntled All-Star along with Danny Green to the Toronto Raptors.
The end of an era in San Antonio. The great Manu Ginobili says so long after 16 years and starts the clock on his Hall of Fame induction.
All that leads to this, a very jumbled up projected depth chart. And I think this is a very fair five to assume might be the opening night starters that Greg Popovich throws out there. But I'd find it hard to believe this is the lineup that would end the season, just because, as Greg Popovich said during media day, if Lonnie Walker proves he's an all-star from day one, I'm not sending him down to Austin. I'm playing him. Right, so we bring in Haywood and David Griffin to talk about some of these guys. And let's start here with the draft pick, Lonnie Walker, a guy that many have high hopes for this season.
Had a chance to watch a lot of him because, of course, he's an ACC country playing in Miami. And when you watch him play, he kind of struggled early on in Miami, but what always popped off the screen is he could get wherever he wanted to off the bounce. He was very confident, and as the season went along, his game got better and better. He started making plays. You started seeing it sometimes in the summer league as well. But he really started making some good step backs, taking to the basket. I loved how athletic he was, and I think he gives him that pop. Lonnie Walker is the player that I think the Spurs need. They're not going to be sending him down to the D. They're not going to be sending him to Austin. They need him right away because they need as much athleticism and youth as they can in this lineup.
Jakob Poeltl is a guy that came over in the DeMar DeRozan deal and a guy who flourished at times for Dwayne Casey in Toronto. What do you think they can get out of him this year in year one in San Antonio?
Well, once upon a time, David Robinson and Tim Duncan were forming the Twin Towers, and they worked really, really well together. They've done less and less of that as they've gone along, and as the game has grown and evolved and changed, they've certainly been at the forefront of some of that change. But I think what Poeltl gives them now, if he's not starting the first game, he probably finishes it. He's somebody that defensively will really help them in the paint. They struggled mightily the second half of the season to defend in the paint. But more importantly, it's interesting. We saw some clips when we talked about Toronto as well. Poeltl can actually initiate offense for them a little bit, and that'll play to DeMar's strength somewhat as well.
Yeah, I think having a guy like Poeltl is great for you because he can start or he can come off the bench. He's not going to complain either way. And then his skill set, the versatility, that's what the NBA is all about. They say big men are dead. No, big men that can't play are dead. Big men that are versatile have a place in this league. Jakob Poeltl is very versatile. We saw him doing some dribble handoffs in the highlight. Sometimes he's crafty. He can keep the give, make a play, come down the lane, give you a dunk or two. So he can do a lot of different things from this elbow area, and that's very important when you have somebody like DeMar because they're probably looking for him to slice and come off some pin downs as well, and they can get some quick, easy shots.
DeMar DeRozan said during media day, Jakob Poeltl set some of the hardest screens he's ever run into in his life during practice up in the Toronto days. Greg Popovich, speaking about how to use DeMar DeRozan, said he learned his lesson with the issues they had with LaMarcus Aldridge a couple of years ago.
He's already an all-star, and he plays a certain way, so there'll be some things that we'll try to add to his game if he's willing. But I'm not going to jump on him like I did L.A. I tried to turn L.A. into John Havlicek.
Okay, a couple of things here about this. Number one, the Spurs were ahead of the time with shooting the three, and then they've kind of regressed back to the mean, right, and become a team that's worked inside. So you think naturally that fits DeMar DeRozan, who's been a mid-range assassin. But on the other hand, we saw DeMar DeRozan last year make more threes than he ever had in his career. And I also want to point out, too, he became quite the playmaker, averaged more assists per game than many starting point guards in the league, right? So let us see here out in the court how you think Greg Popovich implements DeRozan into this offense.
Well, I think in this situation, for the highlights, we're going to let Griff be DeMar DeRozan. So
why is that?
Well, I think that's clear.
It's clear because he's the best athlete out here.
I mean,
one of the best things about DeMar DeRozan is he is excellent playing in the elbow area and off the mid-post. So, Jared, if I throw you the ball, they can just run what we like to call a simple wide pin down, where you can take LaMarcus Aldridge, let him set a pin down for DeRozan. DeRozan catches the ball, and that's where DeRozan is so good. When he catches this ball on the run, he's excellent at setting his man up. Watch how he moves a lot of times. DeMar will come off the screen, keeps his man on his hip, and then when he tight curls in there, he can get a shot, he can pass the ball to a teammate, and we all know he's crafty as well. He has all the Euro steps, the step backs. He's excellent at getting to the free throw line, and that's how he gets to the free throw line. He gets downhill. Now, that's the wide pin down. We also have what we like to call the tight pin down, more of a stack, where basically the big comes down. Now this time DeRozan's cutting off tight. And once again, this can turn into an immediate shot or it can turn into a nice ISO situation in the mid-post where he might be the best mid-post player or mid-range player that we have in the NBA. These are all excellent situations that the Spurs can use along with dribble handoffs from Jakob Poeltl to get DeMar DeRozan going. I think all of that is how Greg Popovich will use him. Yeah, he's going to get his screen and rolls as well. But this area right here is where DeMar DeRozan has made his name and his fame. Being a mid-range maven, I think Greg Popovich will use that, and he will use that a lot to his strengths.
And this is how this is going to impact LaMarcus as well. If this is LaMarcus on this tight curl here along the lane that we talked about, when DeMar comes off of LaMarcus, he's going to be here. LaMarcus is going to space to that corner. Yeah. He's a 47% corner three-point shooter for Portland. When he was taking a high number of threes, that's his corner. So you're going to see them run this action to this side and create the opportunity for LaMarcus to open the floor up for DeMar. And to your point about DeMar's playmaking element, he's going to be able to get the ball to LaMarcus. They're going to be great together in that way.
One more thing about that play. Look at the spacing. When DeMar Jared, hit the ball. When DeMar comes off this pin down that we're talking about right here, when he comes off, if the big stops him at all, it's an automatic pop out to the corner. If they try to switch it, though, now LA, being the smart basketball player he is, he's not going to go to the corner. I have a two-guard on me. Goes right here, gets it on the block, where he likes to get to his pound game. We can give it to a turnaround jumper or get right inside with his jump hook. So I think that type of action, those type of plays will be excellent for DeMar, but also LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, LaMarcus, his three-point attempts have gone up each and every year he's played in San Antonio, and told me the other day, in fact, that he believes Pop will let him expand that part of his game even more this upcoming season.